Okay. It's right about 11:15, Justin. Should we get started?
Wonderful idea.
Okay. So good morning, everybody. We're here for our second session with Justin Thiboutot, and I figured out how to say his name. And and Justin, in case you have not met him, is a creative movement coach and animal flow adventurer and all-around lovely human with a really contagious enthusiasm for life. And I'm going to turn it over to him for a creative movement session today. And we will get going. So Justin, take it away.
Thanks so much, Ruth, and welcome back, and hello to all the new faces that came in today. Thanks so much. I'm so happy to be hosting the second workshop this month, and the real intention here is I want to help showcase and just help you all experience some really creative, natural movement that should just feel very organic and fluid, but really aim to release a lot of tension and stress physically and mentally as it comes to us naturally. And our plan for today will be very, very nice in that I want to lead a very nice full body warm up, just get everything feeling really online and a little bit more awake midday here. And we'll lead that into some wonderful, fun little prompts, little movement practices that I'll lead you all through to get things moving right along. I'll just ask that you won't need a whole lot of space to enjoy this movement practice today. Just make sure that any sort of furniture or anything you have within the vicinity is just a little bit cleared out so you can experience things just a lot more fully without bumping into anything. Perfect. So I'll encourage you just to come to stand. We're going to get ourselves rooted just into the space around you. And we're going to take this moment just again, if you happen to be in socks or shoes, I encourage you just to remove that. I think you'll all experience this a lot more fully in bare feet if you haven't already. So just make sure you're nice and free to wiggle those toes and move a bit freely. And once we're standing, we're going to just take a moment just to feel that floor beneath you. And we're going to bring those arms just a little bit out, removing a little bit of stress from the shoulder and the spine, just extending outward, feeling some length in your spine and overhead, and pushing those fingers out, just feeling that extremity around you, reaching them forward and carrying them overhead. Just beginning to feel some length come through your body, pushing out. And as you move today, try not to feel overly rigid. Try to just stay a little more relaxed and tuned with your body, pushing those arms out. We're going to reach forward again, just getting in a little bit of rotation through the wrist, carrying that outward to the side and up. We're going to begin with this wonderful, nice roll down, which we revisited last time. So with the fingers overhead, I'm going to encourage you just to get a little playful reach in the space above you, just getting a little bit of reach toward the ceiling or a little fruit that's dangling there from that tree. And we're going to begin to roll down the spine, leading with the fingertips. We're going to just tuck our chin gently there, everyone, and just begin to roll slowly so you can connect with your spine, just gently in toward the ground, and keeping the knees a little bent, a little soft. Will feel more comfortable for all of you. And once we feel we've just found a bit of that end range there, I'm just going to ask you to get a little gentle sway, moving into the hip a little bit, just relaxing the neck, removing that stress that might be hiding there, finding a little bit of gentle side to side motion come through, bring that back into center. We're going to begin coming up in reverse. So I want to just, again, let that head release from the neck, and we're going to slowly begin just coming up to stand at a nice, easy pace, carrying those arms with us. Let those carry in front of you. As we get toward the ceiling again, I'm just going to find a little reach behind us, not too far, sending my hips forward, creating a little bit more space in my back. Let's enjoy one of these one more time. So with those fingers reaching overhead, we're going to begin just bringing those down toward the ground, unloading that spine at a nice, easy pace. Starting to lengthen the hamstrings a little bit. Everyone bring your feet out a little wider. We're going to allow ourselves to get a little bit deeper into the hip. No need to go for too much range if it's not there. Just getting a little bit of side-to-side motion again at your own pace. And let that movement just carry a little bit into the shoulder. Just feeling a little gentle movement come through there in this low position. And just bring the feet back in. We're going to begin that wonderful roll up, starting to just push away from the ground. Carrying those fingers forward, just starting to roll up toward that nice tall position again. And if you'd like, just try that little gentle reach back where we just feel a little more extension in our back. And what we're going to do now is just begin a nice release with the upper body. So on my cue, we're going to just bend at the waist and release the knees, just like this. So we'll let the arms go and come right back up. So reach those fingers again overhead. Take a breath into your body and then just let it go. Let it collapse. Just let those knees bend. Let those arms go. Come up again. Even up onto the toes a bit. You can get a little bit of lift onto the ball of your foot and let it go. Great. Last time. Just a little reach. Just think about letting go of that tension that's there. Up into the feet and let it go. All right, it's coming back up. We're going to just get a little bit into the torso now, continuing this wonderful warm-up. I'd encourage you just to bring your arms out to the side, widening our stance. We're going to just begin with these nice forward, internal, kind of external rotation, feeling a little bit of gentle torque around the shoulder. Hands are just nice and relaxed. And kind of just keeping a bit of a playful quality. Nothing too defined or restricted. And we're going to begin just moving in around the elbow. Just one arm after the other gets a little bit more release around that joint. And feel free just to keep your upper body not too restricted to upright. Feel free to join me for a little bit of side-to-side motion there. Terrific. Just continue to playfully work around that rotation. And we're going to move into the hips a bit more. Just want to get a little bit more bent through the hips. You can bring your hands to the ground. Nothing too restrictive here. We're going to just get a little bit more side-to-side motion, just to open up those hip flexors gently, and just working at your own pace. Feeling a little bit more flexion begin to work its way in. We're going to bring just one arm overhead, just easy if you can. Getting a little reach overhead first. bringing that back toward the ground. And then just finding a little bit of reach on that other arm. Looking toward that hand, if you can, if you'd like to. And then diving it back down. Just getting a little bit more time with this gentle bit of flexion around the hips. If you'd like to experience this a little deeper, that's up to you. You feel a little bit more coming through the hip. If it's a little sore on your knees today, just stay a little bit higher up. No pressure to take it as you'd like. And I'm going to encourage you all just to come to the floor for our last little bit of warm up. And we're going to just bring ourselves into a cross-legged position, or relaxed if you'd like with the leg. And I'm just going to get a little gentle side to side sway here. Just moving around my hips in a gentle circle so they can come behind. We're going for a big reach. Just playfully working around your saddle. Feel free to explore a little bit of rotation if you'd like, with a little reach back as we finish warming up the spine. No rush to go there. Just move through where you feel you'd like to go. And just for our last minute, continuing this wonderful bit of exploration down here with a little rotation if you'd like, and some nice reaching. Start to just be aware of the hips and the spine, feeling a lot more accessible to move more freely. And just coming back to a nice neutral position. I'd like to join you all with a nice breath, reaching overhead. And big breath out. We're going to gather just a bit more energy. Big breath in. And release. I think we'll all enjoy one more. Bring it overhead. And release. Fantastic, all. So if you'd like, maybe enjoy a little water. Take just a minute or so to get a little bit restored there. We're going to jump into our first creative movement in just a moment. Just take a moment for yourself. I hope everyone's body's feeling a little more awake. I
Feeling
know
great,
how
Justin.
great that felt.
Happy to be
Thank
here,
you.
baby.
So we're going to branch today into a little bit more of a guided creative movement to begin with. And then I'm going to hand the reins over to you individually to take it in your own direction. I'm going to give us all a little prompt, and we're going to begin standing for this one. So come on up, just join me up here. As we get started, we're going to use a bit of a visual cue to kind of envision as if we're holding a little bit of an energy ball or a little globe, so to speak. And we're going to creatively move to carry that ball, to transfer it in the space around us with a lot of variety. And that can stay in one hand, it can be held between both of them, or it can transfer. So we're going to begin with a little bit of a guided creative movement, just for a brief moment to get you started, and then we're going to get into some wonderful movement on our own. So I'd like you all just to start to bring that visual, that ball of energy that you're holding, feel a bit of the weight coming into it, as if it were physically present, feeling the weight in that palm. And I'd like you all just to get a little bit more grounded, bending the hips a little bit. We're going to just carry that ball a little bit side to side. Just easy through the hip here. Again, really visualizing, seeing that in the space. Bring it out forward and in, forward and in. I'd like you to just turn that wrist, bring it overhead. Feel it, hold on to it as you move in that space above you. And we're going to carry that gently coming down a little bit toward the ground. How you get there is up to you. Don't have to be in the position I'm in. It can be a little different. And we're just going to find and carry it a bit lower to the ground. Feeling a little variation in carrying that. Now, transfer that ball to the other hand. Start to feel the weight come through there. And we're going to start to carry that ball with us into that high space again. How you hold it is up to you. Start to get a little bit of change in direction in how you carry it. And at this point, I'm going to ask you all to start to think about carrying that ball or transferring it at your own pace, in your own direction. So just think about building a little bit of variation into your movement. Feel that ball, carry it with you, and take the lead now at your own pace, moving with that ball. No need to rush anywhere. Gentle if you need to. Just really make sure you feel the ball as if it were there. You can get low or as high as you'd like. Just continue to work with that. This is wonderful. So nice to see you all moving with that energy. Just continue to transfer it at your own pace. One hand or both, if you'd like. Looking to change a bit of the direction we're in from time to time. Fantastic. We're going to spend our next minute just carrying that energy a little bit further. Just enjoying the freedom of movement that comes with it. And above all, just maintain a playful quality. Beautiful. Very slowly, start to just slow down the movement. Start to bring that energy a little bit in. Don't quite stop the movement, but just start to bring the energy a little bit down. Just a little bit more in. Coming to the floor, just bring that energy in. Take a moment, take a breath. Just feel the floor beneath you for a moment. And we're gonna just take a pause here, just to take a rest, take a little break for a moment. Hope you all enjoyed just breaking out a bit of that energy, feeling a little bit of that difference in your body for that exercise. It's really enjoyable already. So we're going to take a little time to come into our next little bit of fun. And we're going to explore a little bit more variation from the ground. We're going to tap into a little bit of primal fun movement. And I'm going to give you some nice framework to begin, just starting to branch into that in just a moment. So working from the ground can be wonderful, being that connected a lot more to the earth and the floor, really taps into this nice primal element. And I love the feeling it can give as we branch out more and explore it more from there. So I'm going to ask us all to we're going to get a nice bit of just mobility around the wrist, just getting a little more loose, as I want to spend and encourage us to get a little bit more work in a specific position. So I'm going to ask you all, just stay seated for a brief moment, bring your hands together. We're going to get through some wonderful little rotation just around the wrist. If any of us are doing a lot of tablet work, computer work, these are also wonderful for unlocking a lot of restriction. Just feeling a lot of that tension remove itself. If your brain is still with us today, just change the direction in which you're rotating. There we go. Fantastic. Just bring those hands out in front of you. We're going to do a little show me the hands, show me the nails. And we're coming through this wonderful flexion and extension. It's just going to unlock a little bit of that joint so we can move comfortably on the ground. Hope that's all feeling wonderful for each of you. Close up that hand, bring those fingers in, and we're going to do a little starburst here, as I call it. Just shoot them out and pull them back in. Shoot them out, pull them back in. So this is fantastic as it awakens the joints in the hand a little bit more and just feels a little bit more alive for some movement. I'm going to just have us all finish with a little bit of a shakeout, just remove a bit of tension there. And I'm going to invite us all to begin our next primal creative movement. Just from the ground, we're going to start gently on hands and knees. If you'd like a little more comfort, or if you're a little sensitive around there, a mat, a pillow, I invite you just to bring that in if you'd like. So starting in this nice grounded position, I'm going to lead us through a first little bit of movement before we begin to branch off and explore our own variation. So we're going to reach one arm, opening up the chest, feeling that lift toward the ceiling, just gazing at those fingers briefly, rotating that forward toward the ground. Gently lifting the other, feeling that nice extension on the chest, and reaching that forward. Again, other arm coming up. If you'd like, just trying to rotate that back a little bit gently. No pressure to go there. Bringing it forward in a nice big arc toward the ground. Last time, just feeling that reach. Spread the fingers a little bit even. Feel that awakening a bit more. And reach that forward. And from here, I'd like you just to gently tuck your toes a little bit. We're not going to be here long, but we're going to just elevate the hips, keeping the feet wide. So we have a nice grounded stance here. And we're going to begin just gently moving a little bit side to side in this position. If your body needs a brief rest, there's no commitment to being in this position. Feel free to take a quick pause at your own pace. We're going to begin just getting a little lift on the arm, one at a time. Breathing as we move with this nice bit of lift. And from here, keep the arms down. Just try a little lift in the leg. Just a little lift on the foot behind you. Keeping it fun, keeping it playful. Little lift on the foot and back. And from here, I'm going to ask you all to stay more connected to the ground as you begin just playfully exploring the space around you from a more grounded position. So you can move the hip, change your pattern, lowering the hip or the knee, but continue to explore just a bit more movement that stays connected to the ground at your own pace. Don't feel limited to staying on hands and knees. If you'd like, it can get a little bit different. Get a little bit varied if you'd like. Change your position from time to time. Feel extension, if that's where it comes. Don't be shy. Just to lead your body to where it comes naturally. Wonderful, everybody. Take your time to enjoy this more grounded movement. Keep it interesting for yourself. If you feel you haven't explored a certain direction or position, let it come there naturally. Fantastic. And we'll just take another minute to change and explore a bit more of this lower spectrum at your own pace. So nice to join you all through this really interesting, great movement. Just continue that a little bit longer. And very slowly, just begin, as we did previously, just to slow down the quality of your movement, still maintaining some motion, but just gradually bringing it in. Just ever so gently. Slowing it down. And I'm going to invite you all to come down to the floor with me and just come to lie gently back with our arms just resting at the side. Just place your hands, one on the heart, one on the belly, and just feel the rise and fall of your breath. Just feel that rhythm just start to settle, begin to just lower. And we're going to take a few moments here just to restore that breath a little bit more normally, just a little. Just gathering all that energy, remain still, just starting to release and relax the spine, the hips. Just going to take half a minute to restore that fully before we move forward. Very gently, just begin to roll onto your side. Start to come to the side. Bring the knees in. Gently going to push ourselves up. And I'd like you all, if we can, to come into what I might call a little 90-90. This might be familiar for some of us. But if we're new to this position, I'm gently just trying to bring my front leg a little bit turned out and away from my body. My other leg, just trying to relax my glute a little bit. Just coming behind, nothing too overly tight or rigid. And I'd like you all just to reach one arm away, just stretching out and lengthening the side of our body briefly. And I'd like us all just to ease down. No need to overreach this if it feels tight. Just getting a little bit of contact into the space in front of you. We're going to move ever so gently over to the other side. No need to overreach that if it's not there. Just place one arm back as we reach the other arm gently overhead. Fantastic. And again, reaching forward, we're going to just get a little bit of nice reach, covering that territory ahead of you over the hip. Feeling some nice feedback in those hips and glutes. Final reach with me overhead. And we're going to change out our leg position just to add in some wonderful feeling on the other hip. Easing that leg down in the front, gently turning the other one in if we can, back behind us. No pressure to get there if we're not there. I'm going to reach back ever so gently as before and just create a little extension, opening up the side of my body. And let's also just take that nice time to ease forward, creating that flexion through the hip. Easing forward, crossing the hands to the other side. Hey there, hips. Bring the arm back. Feeling some wonderful extension in the body. And finishing forward. Guide those hands forward toward the front. Maybe feeling a little more reach if it's there. Final reach back gently. And bring the arm in. And if you'd like to just grab some water, take a moment or two, I'm going to ask you all to come back in just a moment so we can gather together. I hope you all really enjoyed exploring the ground with me. That was terrific. So I wanted to thank you all so much for coming out today. This was so nice to enhance and offer some more variety to all of you who joined before, and also to those of you who joined for the first time. Such a pleasure to have you with me today. Just wanted to follow up if there was anyone who wanted to share just how the experience was today, or if anything felt very complimentary to how your body felt prior to starting, that you're more than welcome to share.
Yeah, Justin, I'll just thank you for that class. That was a nice lunchtime thing to do.
Great, thanks, Brian.
Exercise with the imaginary ball. It's amazing how much movement you can get in your entire body with that one non-equipment function.
I love that just a bit of framework in that sense offered a lot of great variety, or a lot of potential to go with that sort of ball and really explore a lot of different variety. Yeah, really enjoyed that. I'm glad it resonated with you, Brian. Terrific.
Thanks.
Personally, I appreciate like the bit of guided part, because sometimes when I'm alone, I get a little lost in the sauce, or I get deep into the stretch where I kind of get into the flow of things, and then the voice and the guidance kind of helps bring me back to center and keeps me going better.
Terrific. Thanks, JJ. The having a little bit of guidance, 100%. You know, when it's a very new type of movement experience for many of us, just having a bit of structure can really get a nice kind of breaking off point to branch out as you get more comfortable. I'm really glad it felt great to have a little bit of a bit of guidance for you to get going. Terrific.
Well, and you guided us in ways I never would have moved on my own, so good.
Thanks, Marcia. I hope you know, it felt at a nice level for you just to get a little bit more acquainted with that type of movement.
Yeah, I'm doing this on top of gravity yoga and swimming today, so this is like the third form of
Wow.
movement. So,
Terrific.
I agree.
Thanks so much for coming out.
I was just going to say, Justin, that I agree with JJ about the guidance. I have the effect, though. I will start the creative movement session, and then my brain will take over halfway through something really fun that my body wants to explore, and it'll be going along, and then suddenly I'll hear the dryer stop, or I'll realize that I don't know where I left my wallet, and suddenly I'm not doing the thing anymore. So
Right.
really appreciate the guidance, and it allows me to go freely, knowing that you have an escort or a facilitator rather. So thank you.
Yes, absolutely. I know it can take a bit of time as this type of movement becomes more accessible to build your own independence and gather a bit more variety on your own. And I'm really glad the structure helped all of you get there today.
And I just wanted to
Hey,
add,
Linda.
just on the opposite, like I do like the structure, but the freedom to just be and do, and it's not wrong, you're just doing what your body tells you, is the coolest thing, I think. Anyway, I've just for so many years just followed rules, and just that curiosity and the playfulness and all that we've been learning with TFC, that's just the way my mind is going lately, and it's just so fun to discover and play, and it's just cool, and I appreciate this session.
Oh, you're most welcome. Thank you so much for coming out again to round two.
You bet.
The sense of curiosity that becomes a bit more present as we get more, into the experience is, I'm so glad that can grow. And for many of us that come back to working or developing this practice that becomes more accessible with more openness to being free and allowing that discovery to come forth on its own. I'm so glad that that's getting a lot more abundant for yourself.
Awesome.
Is the first session available in recorded form? Okay, I'll look for it. Thanks.
Yes. Yeah. We'll make sure, Marcia, that it's forwarded to you via the Mighty Networks. We'll make sure a link is sent to you. It'll be on our YouTube page.
Okay, thank you.
Great. You're very welcome. Just before we wrap things up, was there anyone else that just wanted to share a bit of the experience before we all say goodbye?
Well, I would like to say that I agree with what Linda said, like the freedom and the invitation to like move also on your own and explore your own creativity was, very nice to experience. So thank you very much.
It's Amina.
It's Amina, yeah.
Amina, thank you so much for sharing that. That resonated with you in that way, and so happy to have your energy with us today. That's terrific. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
It's very relaxing.
Yes. Well, thank you all so much. I'm so glad we could all be together again. And I wanted just to just let you know, I intend to bring more variety and similar tools and experiences to both of our communities so that we can be together again for more of this great content. So I'll be sure to share and keep you all well aware of upcoming dates. There will be more, and hope to see some of your faces again. This was wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome.
Just
Thank you.
Before you all head out, I was curious if there were any objections to me posting this with all of us moving together. Typically I post with just the instructor, but if it's okay with you, so that people might be inspired, does anybody object to that?
No, it's all good.
I don't.
That's what I was taught.
I don't object. I just didn't have my camera on, so won't have me on there anyway. It's fine.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks for
I
checking.
Thank you, Ruth.
No worries. Nice to see you, Ruth.
Nice to see you too, JJ. Okay, well, signing off. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much, Justin.
It's my pleasure, and all of a wonderful rest
Thanks
of
for
your
your
day.
time and
Bye for now.
energy, Justin.
Thank you again.